This is the Monday Reset with Mandy Davis. I'm Mandy, a former school principal turned homeschool mom who saw the system from the inside and decided my kids deserved something better. Every Monday, we take 10 minutes to cut through the noise, the fear, the politics, the pressure, and talk about what's really shaping our kids. Because education isn't neutral, and neither is our culture. Here, you'll get truth without hysteria, conviction without chaos, and perspective that actually helps you parent with peace. Take a breath, grab your coffee, and let's reset together. Episode 11: Why Comparison is Breaking Modern Motherhood. There's a weight so many mothers are carrying that rarely gets named out loud. It doesn't announce itself as jealousy or insecurity. It doesn't always feel dramatic or obvious. Most of the time, it just feels like a low hum in the background. A sense that you're behind, missing something, or quietly falling short. Comparison rarely shows up loudly. It shows up in the scroll, in the second guessing, in the way confidence erodes just a little at a time. And the hardest part is that comparison doesn't usually feel cruel. It feels instructional. It feels like information. It feels like inspiration. Until one day you realize it's slowly been draining your peace. Modern comparison doesn't look like envy the way we used to understand it. It looks like research, like gathering ideas and trying to do right by your kids. We scroll to learn. We watch others to improve and save posts because they seem helpful. But over time, something subtle shifts. We stop trusting our own instincts. We start measuring our days against someone else's highlight reel. And we begin adjusting decisions not because something feels wrong, but because something else looks better. And comparison becomes the background noise shaping our motherhood, not because we are shallow, but because we are saturated. Comparison rarely steals joy first. It steals peace. It makes rest feel irresponsible, and it makes simplicity feel lazy. It turns motherhood into something to manage publicly instead of something to live privately. And the quiet competition that follows isn't always about being better. It's about not being left behind. Here's the truth we don't say enough. Motherhood was never meant to be measured this way. You were never meant to carry the weight of everyone else's choices on top of your own. One of the most damaging effects of comparison is how subtly it turns children into evidence. Evidence that we're doing enough and making the right choices. And without realizing it, pressure creeps in. Kids feel it when their growth is being watched too closely. They feel it when their pace is being compared. They feel it when their struggles feel inconvenient instead of instructive. Children don't need to be impressive. They need to be allowed to be themselves, at their pace and in their season. Comparison steals that freedom, not because parents want it to, but because fear is persuasive. Every family has a rhythm, and every season has limits. But comparison convinces mothers that if it doesn't look like someone else's life, it must be wrong. And that simply is not true. Your lane was designed just for you, and your pace was shaped by your capacity. Your family and children were entrusted to you, not to an algorithm, not to a trend, not to someone else's story. Peace doesn't come from keeping up. It comes from staying rooted, and rooted mothers raise grounded children. From a faith perspective, comparison isn't just exhausting, it's distracting. It pulls our attention away from the quiet work God is doing right in front of us. It makes us overlook the good because we're busy scanning for better. It makes us anxious about outcomes instead of faithful in the present. Trust doesn't grow in constant evaluation. It grows in stillness. And sometimes the most faithful thing a mother can do is stop looking sideways and tend to what's been placed in her care. So here's your Monday reset. Comparison will cost you the peace you're trying so hard to create. You don't need to see how everyone else is doing. You don't need to adjust your life to match someone else's rhythm. You don't need to prove that you're doing enough. Step out of the noise and come back to your home. Trust the work that's happening there, because you were never meant to parent in competition. I'm Mandy Davis, and this was your Monday Reset. If today's episode hit home, whether you're stepping out of the system or simply refining what already works, the Homeschool Bible gives you the clarity, confidence, and grounding every parent deserves. You don't have to figure this out alone. Pre-order through the link in my show notes. Thanks for joining me for the Monday Reset. If today helped you breathe a little deeper or see things a little clearer, share it with a friend who needs that same moment of clarity. We're not here to chase every headline. We're here to think critically, lead calmly, and protect what matters most. I'm Mandy Davis, and this was your Monday Reset.
Join Mandy Davis every Monday for a new episode of the Monday Reset.